Talk about the cloud. I think the cloud is a little bit misused sometimes, like Web 2.0 is. Some of the commercials out there. But the general idea that you no longer have these siloed websites. You have these websites that are all trying to talk to each other. And they're doing it through feeds and they're doing it through APIs. Drupal has some fantastic mechanisms to both help you push information out and to receive information. Feeds in the Feed API, a great set of modules developed by DevSeed. And if you ever have a website, say Flickr, YouTube, Twitter, you can use these modules to pull feeds in from those websites. RSS, Views basically allows you to RSS everything and anything on your website. So it allows people to consume that content on other websites or in readers. FeedBurner, just kind of a little bit of a niche module, but it's a great way for, one of the problems with RSS is you don't know how many people are actually using your feeds. FeedBurner can actually give you some analytics about it. It's a service that Google provides as a module that integrates. Also the services module. So you've got all these APIs sitting out there, and unfortunately they're all in different technologies. You have SOAP, you have REST, you have JSON. You've got all these different technologies, and there's lots of different ways of doing it, although probably the one best unified way, it's kind of the community's kind of coalescing around, is services, which is a module that allows you to interact with multiple APIs, multiple API technologies. Blogging and publishing. Again, something that Drupal is excellent at. Of course, there's the blog module. A couple of modules I recommend putting in. I will say this is one thing that I think WordPress does well, is you get pingbacks and trackbacks automatically. These are automatic systems. Well, pingbacks are automatic. Trackbacks are a facilitating technology to let other blogs and other people that are supporting these technologies know that you're writing about them. Knowing that you're interested, so it sort of creates this network of posts around the web where you can jump from one blog to another blog, and you don't have to put it on just your blog. You can put it on articles, you can put it on screencasts, you can put it on all kinds of different things on your Drupal website. Social bookmarking and syndication, there's this whole series of these modules. Three that I like are Add This, Share This, and Services Link, Picture Poison. Any one of those, I wouldn't use all three, pick one. Facebook, there's a lot of different Facebook modules. The one that I find the most interesting is Facebook social plugin integration. And you can do a lot of things just with some media embeds. Twitter, there's the Twitter module where you can actually pull your Twitter feeds into your website. And it's really kind of interesting sometimes what that does with search. There's also, a few months ago, it was the tweet meme button where people could retweet your posts. And it's a great way to put your posts out there in another place for people to read it. Twitter now has implemented their own system, and so now you have the tweet button. And that's probably what's going to take over tweet meme, is looking at the tweet button. And then the other thing is media. So you've got Flickr, you've got YouTube, you've got all these different systems out there. The embedded media field allows you to put that media over on some other website where you're not having to pay the hosting cost, yet integrate it into your website in a fairly elegant way. The podcast module is a pretty interesting module. If you're going to do any podcasting or even some video casting, the podcasting module makes some changes to views that allows it to be iTunes, basically go into iTunes, and now the whole world can subscribe to your feed through iTunes. Whoops, hit the button too fast. So how do we decide what we want to buy? Anyone got any ideas? How do we know what is great? How do we know what really is must-see TV?
You can always look at how many sites it's on.
True, true.
It's peer-to-peer recommendation.
Exactly. What's very interesting is there's a book that inspired me greatly, and actually one of the authors spoke at DrupalCon DC that I'm very excited about, called the Clue Train Manifesto, that was written back in '99 about the concept that many years ago we lived in small communities. We went to bazaars, we went to the marketplace, and we knew what to buy because we talked with one another. Then the Industrial Revolution happened. And while we moved into these large cities, we really became more isolated. And then luckily, advertising agencies came around. They built these big brands, and companies told us what we should buy. But the problem is those companies weren't always super truthful about maybe what we should buy. And so now, humans are now self-organizing, again, on the internet. What's interesting is that the book was written before a lot of the social media, and so people were doing it in the old days around forums and so forth. Now it's accelerated tremendously, that we as humans are getting together and talking. And so the old way of doing branding, the old brand builders, is that you would take your product and your advertising agency or corporate communications and say, look at how awesome our product is. Here's as many superlatives and a memorable jingle as we can say about it. But people don't believe that anymore. So what do we do now? Online leaders, they take their product and they put it on a table. Or they put it out in the market square and say, let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion about it. They engage their customers in one-on-one conversations. There's sort of a sequence that we find. This is just kind of a general sequence that we find with engagement. The first one is aesthetics. Despite our mothers telling us don't judge a book by its cover, we do. When you first come to a website, the first thing you look at is it pretty? Does it look clean? Next thing you want to look at, is it usable? People in general are not coming to your website to read some fluff paragraph you put on your homepage or watch the rotating flash banner or whatever you've got on your homepage. They're trying to get to a specific piece of information. And if you can't get them to that quickly, if you can't be intuitive, you're going to lose them. Then of course, now they found the content they want to start reading. And so you need to have good content. After they've gotten the information that they want, now they might start going, what's this button over here do? What's this little widget over here? What are some little surprises around here? What's the functionality of this website? And then one of the last phases is it human? As humans, we seek out things that are familiar. And human is one of the most familiar things in our world. And so a website that can achieve the perception of being genuinely human has an advantage. So how do we do this with Drupal? Well, I would love to say that Drupal is going to make your website look great. And for those of you who are designers know that there is no magic button for making things look great. The best you can hope for is giving people total control to enable people to make websites look great. Drupal has a fantastic theming engine. Allows you to do all kinds of things, really at almost really a microscopic level. There's all kinds of files that you can get to and make things pretty and do all kinds of nuanced things. Usability. There's a lot of people that complain about Drupal's usability, but generally they're talking about the backside, although a lot of that's going to be solved and a lot of that's going to be better in 7. But that's backside usability. Those are for the experts, the site builders. Front-end wise, it actually has got some pretty good usability, or at least it's got a whole big toolbox to make good usability. And so you have things like tags, you've got things like rating systems, you've got views that can easily create lists of things and decorate them in all sort of ways. In fact, you can create lists of things that are best rated and have lots of tags. And so you have all these widgets and you have all these patterns that you can follow in Drupal to help with your usability. Content. And this isn't specifically a Drupal thing, but this is the magic of open source CMSs, is they transform subject matter experts into publishers. Because there's a lot of people out there that don't know how to do web technology. They have a lot to say. And we've seen this with the blogger revolution. We've seen this with companies opening up their